Hey guys, today we're at an abandoned Spanish colonial fort built in 1795. It's known as Fort St. Philip, and today we're going to be exploring it.
Today we're deep in the wild swamps of Louisiana to explore the crumbling remains of an abandoned fort that was originally built by Spanish forces in 1795, during the time when Louisiana was controlled by Spain. It would eventually end up passing through the hands of 3 different nations and marking the site of several crucial battles, severe storms, and even a cult suicide. My name is Mauricio, and I'm an explorer and adventurer. If you'd like to join me as I explore the abandoned, historical, and natural hidden wonders that the United States has to offer, feel free to subscribe to my channel, but prepare to buckle up. This is going to be a wild ride. The original fort was initially equipped with 35 cannons, howitzers, and mortars. However, when the Americans acquired the fort in 1804 as part of the Louisiana Purchase, they started building several improvements, including a signal station 3 miles below the installation, an earthen redoubt to defend the fort's rear side, and overhead cover above the fort's gun batteries to prevent shell fragments from hitting the gun crews. These improvements came just in time for the War of 1812, when the garrison of Fort St. Philip defended the river approach to New Orleans during the siege of Fort St. Philip.
Your feet sink into the mud pretty good.
This siege was a 10-day long-distance bombardment by 2 Royal Navy bomb vessels against the American garrison of Fort St. Philip in January of 1815. The fort was unable to retaliate at the start, as the bomb vessels were out of range of the solid shot cannon, and its mortar did not have any ammunition. However, this issue was soon resolved by supply boats, allowing the fort to counterattack the bomb vessels with mortar fire on January 17th, and thus causing the British to withdraw.
Looks like these were the gun placements. They would have rotated on top of this thing most likely. They're metal. Don't know how long this has been here. Maybe since the days of the cult.
This was also later the site of the Battle of Forts Jackson and St. Philip from April 18th to 28th of 1862, which proved to be the decisive battle for possession of New Orleans during the American Civil War. At that point in time, both this fort and Fort Jackson, just across the Mississippi River, were in Confederate hands. These 2 forts were strategically located south of the rebel-held New Orleans, which put them squarely in the path of the advancing Union Navy. The Navy contributed a large fraction of its West Gulf blockading squadron, which was commanded by Flag Officer David G. Farragut. The Confederate forces, on the other hand, consisted of Fort Jackson and Fort St. Philip and their respective garrisons, as well as a very small, lightly armed fleet of gunboats to provide support to the defending ground troops. The ensuing battle began when the Union deployed raft-mounted mortars to bombard the forts. However, this strategy proved ineffective, and the mortar fire did little to damage the extensive network of rebel defenses. They soon realized that they were going to need to try something different if they were to succeed. On the night of April 24th of 1862, Farragut decided to attempt a daring maneuver with his fleet. Under cover of darkness, the fleet stealthily approached the fort in an attempt to sneak past it on the way to the otherwise undefended city of New Orleans. When the rebels realized what was going on, a skirmish ensued on the river. During the chaos, 1 Federal warship was lost and 3 others were forced to turn back. However, the small, already outnumbered fleet of Confederate gunboats that was there to support the forts was virtually obliterated, and a large portion of Farragut's fleet managed to make it past Fort St. Philip and towards the now completely undefended city. The subsequent capture of the city, achieved with no further significant opposition, was a serious, perhaps even fatal blow from which the Confederacy never recovered.
Amazing. This place is actually bigger than I expected. No idea what this is. There's a tree growing where the gun placement used to be. Beautiful. Is this flooded? Dude, this is flooded. Incredible. Don't want to step in that water. This is like prime alligator or snake territory, especially in the summer. It's incredible. Dude, that's a snake. That's why I come in the winter, because the snakes like that are dormant. Good Lord. Storage compartment, potentially. See, here's the remains of the iron door. Right there and right there. And this is water. You can see nature takes a heavy toll in these places. What is this? Some kind of storage. Maybe used for ammo storage? I'm not sure. But it's pretty heavily fortified. This structure is massive. Google Maps cannot do it justice. This place is straight up flooded. And you can see the appeal of the fort to potential defenders. Even this gun further inland has remarkable safety, protection, and it has a commanding view of the river where you can fire at will upon any target who dares enter within range. Wow. That's like 2 or 3 rows of defenses from here to the river. Potentially another gun mount, not sure. This specific part of the fort right now looks a little older, so I'm not sure if it might be part of one of the older sections, whether of the Spanish or the American side against the British during the War of 1812. Right here we're looking at what used to be the center of the fort, and then on the outside we got the brick protective perimeter with potentially gun placements around it. See, this metal bar here makes me believe that this was a gun placement. The metal bar may have been used as a little rail to spin the gun around as needed. But, you know, help me out. Help me out in the chat if you think I'm wrong. I'm always open to corrections or suggestions. Beautiful. Another gun placement. Okay, this is a big tree growing in the gun placement. Quite impressive. Looks like one of the main entrances of the fort. Why don't we go? So a lot of this is underground now. Who knows what else there was around here. Don't know what the sphere was here. Wow, it looks like a metal sphere. No idea what it could have been. It's wild. But it's humongous, whatever it is. Looks almost like a wrecking ball. This seems to be the roof of a building, but it's partially submerged under all this mud. So that means we're only getting like the top half of the fort. We have no idea what could lay under all these layers of mud deposited over 100 years. More gun placements. Each section of gun placement seems to be a little different, a little unique, maybe based on the time period that it was installed on. That's my guess anyway. This fort had apparently multiple layers of defenses. Amazing. It's definitely taken its toll after all these Louisiana hurricanes. Wow, this would have been a humongous gun. Look at the rails for it. Bigger than most of the other ones. Massive. And with a great view of the sea once again. You can see the multiple layers of defense that this fort had right here. It's a large fort. I think it's crazy how we don't hear more about it in history books. This thing is almost completely buried. We'll never know what was once inside there.
After going around the brick defensive walls, I come upon what seems to be the fort's main entrance once again. I was previously on the other side of this opening just a few minutes ago.
Looks like the fort's main entrance. Extra muddy, but look at that. Maybe these were for the gate or something, I'm not sure. Well, there's another wheel back there. Yeah, I don't know what this mechanism was for. Yeah, fort's main entrance right here. Okay, let's get out of here. So much marsh. That's what makes exploration difficult here in Louisiana. Maybe a storage room or something? Amazing. What? Was this the brig or something? Little jail cell? No way. So I guess it may have been where they held prisoners, but honestly I don't know at what point the bars were added. Let's go check it out, see what's over around the corner. Just a concrete cell. No idea what those things on top used to be. We are inside the bunker. Wow, used to be some kind of car or vehicle. It looks really old. Remains of a bunker. What is it, a swimming pool? What? There's a ladder here. A broken ladder. It's insane. Don't think we're going for a swim though. Who knows what's under the surface of that water? Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure if this is fort related. I don't see what purpose it would have, but I really don't know. My best guess is this could have been part of the tannery at some point that was here during the 1930s, but I'm honestly not sure.
The fort was used as a tanning factory in the 1930s before eventually serving as the site of a non-sectarian spiritual community called Villa Ashby from 1978 through 1989. The community members numbered as many as 16 at any one time and were known as the Christos family. They lived in 4 buildings, 3 two-story officers' quarters and an officers' club that remained from the refortification of the site during the 1898 Spanish-American War. The leader of the community, Louis Hubert Casebolt, more commonly known as Arcana Christos, meaning oldest anointed one, eventually ended up committing suicide at the site. Shortly after his death, the community left the fort and the surrounding area, once again leaving the fort to rot.
Oh, man. Yeah, no idea what this is. Could have been from the time when the cult was here, or Civil War era, who knows? I don't even know what it is, honestly. Wow, this was a car at some point, or a vehicle of some sort. How do you get a vehicle here? I don't know. Looks like a motor of some sort. Interesting. I don't know what these were. Could have been farming equipment for the cult that lived here, but I'm not sure.
To be clear, I do not know the exact location of the former tannery or the headquarters of the cult that moved into the ruins of the old fort.
I do not know how long this has been here. Tractor of some sort. Some kind of structural columns. Looks like a cemetery, but it's not. They're too square and evenly distributed. I don't know what it was though. Not sure how they did that, but apparently there's a fire hydrant here. At least that's what it looks like. So somebody here, maybe during the early 20th century, had a whole lifestyle going here. And there's more stuff over there, but it's really, really overgrown, and I don't know if it's a good idea. So much that we've seen, and I think we've only scratched the surface. Whoa. This is a massive gun mount. So big you could fall down into it. This would have been a monster gun. So apparently this is battery force, according to Google Maps, and it is massive. Looks like this was the main gun of this battery. And yeah, it's probably the biggest one I've seen so far around here. Wow. A gun placement so massive, you can actually walk around inside of it. How neat is that? That is deep. Not sure how deep that is, but it's definitely flooded. No idea what it was back in its heyday. It's like there's rooms and chambers in there too, with hallways. That is crazy. Got some stairs leading down here, but I don't know how far we can go because it's flooded. Right there, there's the entrance to the first floor, but it's pretty flooded. Not sure if we're going in there at all.
With curiosity getting the better of me, I want to take a closer look inside the structure. So I deploy my GoPro Max, which is able to record in a 360-degree field of vision, and is equipped with a selfie stick that'll help me record those harder to reach places. As much as I want to enter this particular structure, it's simply too dangerous, as there is no telling what could be under the surface of that dark, muddy water.
It's amazing. This historical hidden gem is so pristine that I haven't even seen any graffiti or vandalism whatsoever.
To be honest, I did see a little bit later, but it was still far below the levels we usually see in these kinds of abandoned structures.
Another one of those large gun placements. Whoa. Hey buddies. Sorry. Anyway, I think it's safe to say that Fort St. Philip is the biggest gun battery of all the ones around here. The gun battery is so large, there's a whole ecosystem growing in it. Look at that. See these rails here? Looks like this piece of metal could have possibly slid back and forth to provide cover to whoever was firing on the enemy and defending this fort. Very resourceful. Whoa. It is flooded down here. Amazing. This is what's left of Fort St. Philip.
After lots of effort and some bushwhacking, I'm able to reach most of the fort's batteries, but I'm unable to reach one of them, the one furthest to the northeast, because the terrain is simply impassable at that point in time. However, I did manage to capture some close-up drone footage of that battery, and it is astounding. Just like the rest of the entire Fort St. Philip complex, these ruins are crumbling and gradually being reclaimed by the elements. Fort St. Philip was heavily damaged in 2005 during Hurricanes Katrina and Rita. According to the National Park Service, the only portions remaining from the times of the Spanish-American War are the original brick fort and the concrete structures. The site is accessible only by boat or helicopter, and following erosion of a small nearby levee, the area is now subject to flooding during high water levels of the Mississippi River.
This was an awesome location. Thanks a lot for exploring it with me. I hope to see you on my next adventure.